What to do when your child is screaming in the back of the car and you are trying to drive peacefully and you are losing your mind? Well, let me first preface this by saying I am not perfect at using this method at all. There are some days where I feel the struggle is much more real than other days, depending on how much sleep I've gotten, how well I've been feeding myself, how many breaks I've been taking throughout the day, how strained I am, how overwhelmed I am. There are some days where it is very, very difficult to be all zen and forget what's going on in the back seat. However, this is a technique or a method that I've been using that has really helped on the days that I can be more zen, and even on the days that I'm not. It's a good reminder that helps me just kind of let go of what's going on in the back seat. And this is how it works. So when I have a child or children screaming in the back seat, there is literally nothing I can do about it, right? I mean, I could stop, I could pull over the car, but sometimes because of lack of nap times or needing to pick up a child from school in the middle of the day during nap times, sometimes that screaming is just really frequent and I don't have the option of pulling over. So when it is completely out of my control, there's nothing I can do about it, I have to sort of create an invisible little barrier in my mind. Because a lot of times those screams feel like they're piercing me, like they're poking at me, they're pushing my buttons, they're hurting me somehow. And my mind seems to believe that I'm being injured, right? That I'm not safe. So I have to create this little invisible barrier in my mind. Like I can literally imagine an invisible barrier that's just surrounding me, or that's between me and the back seat. This invisible barrier allows sound in, so I can still hear the screams, but it completely negates their effects. So the screams can't touch me, they can't hurt me, they can't affect me. I get to choose what I'm gonna do with anything that comes into my barrier, and I get to choose to leave out anything that I don't want to come into my barrier. Now, thinking about it this way, envisioning this barrier or this shield, if you will, is so powerful because it gives me this sense of empowerment and control in a situation where I literally don't have any control. The only thing that we ever have control over is ourselves, the way that we react to things. We don't have full control over our environments. And when we feel that lack of control, that really exacerbates any situation. So having that shield visualization is very, very powerful. Now, if you want to practice this, because in the moment it can be really, really difficult to be zen and imagine this lovely little shield when your emotions are really high, when things are already really tense. So what I would recommend is finding a quiet time. It could be literally 5 minutes before you go to bed. It just could be as you're falling asleep. Could be when you wake up in the morning. Just find 5 minutes each day and close your eyes and just imagine yourself in this difficult situation. You can imagine yourself in a car by yourself first if you want to have a slightly more peaceful situation in mind, or you can go ahead and imagine yourself in the car with a screaming child in the background. But there's no actual child screaming in the background, so you know you're safe. And then just imagine that you have this shield around you, that it's glowing, it's warm, it's super strong, and it is unbreakable. The only person who can control what goes in or out of your shield is you. You get to control what affects you, what doesn't affect you. You don't have to let anything affect you. You have full control over this shield. It will never be broken. It always exists. That shield is always there with you. So you have that full protection, that full safety. And just sit there and imagine this warmth. And fill your shield with the feelings that you really want to feel when your child is screaming in the back. That could be peace, it could be calm, it could be warmth. You could be trying to feel love. That's a great feeling to feel even when your child is screaming in the back. You could just be trying to feel happy, or maybe you want to focus on something that you want to look forward to at the end of the day. So maybe you want to feel a little bit of excitement or anticipation. Just fill your shield, fill your heart with these feelings that you want to feel. Then when the actual situation happens, if you're doing this every night or every morning, or even if you can only do it once a week, that's still really powerful. If you're doing it relatively consistently, then the next time the actual situation happens, it's easier for your mind to recall what you're supposed to do in that experience. It's easier for you to react positively and put up your little shield and remember that little shield and allow yourself to feel safe and positive so that even when things are going crazy and out of your control, you can still feel peaceful and fill your shield with that safety and those feelings that you would like to feel even with all the chaos in the backseat.